Right, so I suppose this is the first time that we've had a pedigree demonstration. We're going to follow it then with a commercial stock demonstration, immediately straight afterwards. And we're going to go through each of the disciplines. So we have dairy, beef and sheep. And we have the very same then for the commercial demonstration, dairy, beef and sheep. So this will follow immediately after we do the pedigree demonstration. So I'm going to hand over to our specialist on the pedigree side, Shane Murphy, and Shane's going to introduce various guests. And the first part of the showmanship that they're going to talk through today is judging. Shane, over to you.
So you're all very welcome. As Jack said, we're going to go through the judging first. So we got our beef, we got our dairy, and we got 2 sheep as well in the pin over. Throughout the day we've gone through many pedigree demonstrations. At 12 o'clock we'll also have the grooming. 1:30 we'll have a clipping demonstration, and at 3 o'clock we'll have showmanship. So I'm going to kickstart the beef side of it. I've got Dwayne Shields here doing the sheep, and I've also got Maria Burke doing the Frisians with us. So a lot of expertise around the place. And just when judging animals, I suppose it's probably the most important thing you learn before you go near any cattle. Unless you have the right stuff starting off, you're not going anywhere really. So it might take a bit of while to take off, but when it takes off, it becomes second nature really. On the beef side of it, so we got 2 Angus heifers here. These are just over the year old. 2 fine heifers in fairness. This Angus was well around at home, and kind of that'll be where I'm most secure talking about, I suppose. From a side aspect, when you're looking at an animal, you want a long, clean, correct animal. So this one here on the right definitely carries that. So you've got a very level top, very level underneath, and carries a good deep body all the way along. You can see there, great length in the animal herself. Just for size wise, for her age, she's a good size of a heifer, good height to her, probably fit for pulling now at the moment. And you can see just from the legs, a nice bit of bone, but not too much bone either. So when you're looking in from the side really, you want as much a rectangle as possible. And then when we go to the back, you want as much a square as possible for a beef animal. So you can see wide down low, wide up high. So from the hips all the way back to the pins, you want as square as possible coming down. So with a few of the shapier breeds now, you mightn't get a kind of smooth effect with them. With Angus, they're soft animals and it'll just blend in. So you're talking about just a 1 unit rectangle square. We talk about Limsey and Charlie, you might have a 3-part animal where kind of your shoulders, your middle, and then another wide back in, so it kind of separates them out a small bit more. But again, looking for the same idea, full rectangle at the sides, square behind them. Going on to the legs, I suppose, good locomotion is a very important animal. You need, first of all, they won't last unless they've got good legs underneath them. So when you're looking at the legs, you look for any faults really. These 2 here are fairly good behind them, legs facing forward. I've seen them walking early on, they track very well. So that's kind of what you're looking for. Going around the front of the animal, so the head is very important for the Angus, kind of more so than some other breeds. So you're talking about the Angus is a pole breed, so you want a nice big pole on top of her head. So you see this one here at the right, I'm constantly picking on this one, but she's a very nice heifer. So a nice big pole on top of her. You can see the head is clipped to emphasise the pole as well. Nice big ears that point out and as short a head as possible. So she's got a nice length of a head, muzzle in her head is kind of thrown back a bit to make it even look even smaller, 2 pointy ears and a good pole. So when you're looking at a female then, you want a feminine touch to the head, whereas the masculine will be a bit more bullish, and a bit more draw you in I suppose. But again, depends on which animal you're looking at, you kind of have to work your way around that. Finally, just for the shoulders, I suppose you want a clean set of shoulders going back. So again, as I said, you're kind of blending in. The Angus is a nice soft animal, so the shoulders blend in well here to the middle part of her, and similar around the shoulder. You don't want to dip behind that shoulder, you want it nice and level like this heifer here. And she's a very good example of the breed in fairness. I suppose we got something good here, we got the 2 cattle, so it makes it a bit better for this judging them, or we can weigh out the weaknesses of one compared to the other. So just looking at the 2 of them from back here, You can say that the tail head of this one sits in a nice bit better, giving that square appearance at the back. A bit more width coming all the way down, and again, definitely down low, this heifer carries a bit more. So, as I was mentioning, the square behind her, this one would definitely be over the top in that aspect. Looking down the tops, so you're talking about nice width here in front of the hips, blending in well with the shoulders. Again, a good heifer blending well here with the shoulders, nice and smooth, very correct along the top, nearly a perfect straight line on both of them. So there's not much between them there on that side. Looking in from the side, good depth on this one. As I mentioned, fierce length. And I know it's probably hard for you to see the one over, but she's actually a very long heifer as well, with a great dip. You don't want to have too gutty in the middle, you know, where it sags down, so you want a nice, clean, deep heifer, and that is a perfect example of it. Just going around to the front. So, both got very good Angus heads though, in fairness. Probably give this one the heads up just because a nicer, bigger pole on top of it. And overall, when you take everything into account, the legs and feet as well, you'd have to give that number 1 and the one inside number 2.